PortalTalk delivers a number of reports it's reporting over your whole Office 365 system. So not just Teams, but also SharePoint sites and even Office groups. So let's take a look at the standard reports which PortalTalk provides. And if we see here on my screen, I have the access permission report. And what this report is telling me is what type of access and what level of permissions users have in the system. So what you can see here is I've actually done a search for Paul because I want to know which workspaces Paul is an owner of. And what I've done here is we said, here's the user, it's Paul, I've searched for him, he's active in here, and the user type, I can filter by user type and say, I only want those workspaces where he's an owner of. So this is an extremely useful report when you want to know for a particular person what level of permission they have in either a team or a SharePoint site, because this is the PortalTalk permission level which they have. The next report which we have is the access review status, and what this report is telling me is when we last performed an access review on this particular workspace. So I can say, well, give me the latest ones, and you can see that we've just actually performed an access review of new Office design. But what you would usually do probably in this report is you would take a look at the days overdue, and you would say which ones haven't had the access review done in time. And you can see here that we've got a number of workspaces where the access review hasn't been done for a very long time. And by the way, this is something which you could actually capture in the system because you could say if the access review hasn't been done, then there's a certain escalation that emails are sent to the security officer to make sure that access review is carried out. But this is a demo system, so we have a number of workspaces here which haven't actually had an access review done for some time. But this is actually one of the audit reports that you might give an IT auditor if they want to know what the status is of the security in your Teams environment or in your Office 365 environment. And what you can see here is it's possible to export all of this data into an Excel spreadsheet, which you can then hand over. So it doesn't have to be on the screen. It could also be a report which you hand over to the IT auditor. Carrying on, let's take a look at the report for the external users. And what this report is giving us is an overview of all the workspaces in our system to which external users have access to. So if we take a look at Ariana here, we can see that she's an active user and she's actually got access to 3 workspaces. If I click on that number 3, it will tell me to which workspaces, what those 3 workspaces are, and we can have a look at the permission levels she has there and what the category is. And if we're not sure what the status is for Ariana, we can actually block her with one action from all those 3 workspaces. So if you can see, if I close this, then her status is not active but is now blocked, and once we're happy that there's no problem with her access level, then I can reactivate her and she then has access. So this is not just a report, it's actually an active way of controlling access to workspaces. The last report that we're going to take a look at is the report on the workspaces, and this is basically just an overview of all the workspaces that you have in the Office 365 system, so Teams, SharePoint sites and Office groups. And the report that you have here has got who the owner is, the title, whether it's a team or a SharePoint site, what the category is that you've given to it through PortalTalk, and whether it's active or not. And what I can do here is, for instance, I can go into the columns and say I want to customize those, and I could take a look at the number of external users, and I can put that in the second place. If I apply that and come back, you can see it's changed the workspaces, the columns here, and I can now see the number of external users. And that could be a really useful report for you if there are a lot of external users in your system. So you can actually see per workspace, SharePoint site or team or Office group, how many external users have access to that workspace. and which workspace it is and who the owner is. And once again, like the other reports, you can export all of this data to an Excel spreadsheet. So that's an overview of the reports that you can produce with PortalTalk.